All right, guys. I'll just do another video because it's 5:30 in the afternoon and haven't got a lot to do today. So, but I just want to talk about living in the present. Because one of the problems you get is I've seen it and I've seen how some people deal with things that are thrown at them. Like for example, I see some of the bitterness where something's happened to somebody, and they hold on to that for years. I was thinking about this about one of the trolls today. He's been trolling since 2005. Long before he started trolling me. But the point being is, he must have a really sad life for that to be his focus on a country he doesn't live in, with people he's never met. But the point being is, you can end up that way if you hang on to some of this stuff that, quite simply, if you can't change it, I think get rid of it. Because there is no positive outcome. There's no positive outcome. It just isn't worth the hassle. And people do this. They hold on to family issues, ex-partner issues, business problems, or whatever. That's constantly at the back of their mind. It's somebody's got one up on them or whatever it is. When in reality, once you get rid of that, you'll find you're a lot more relaxed because you're not letting it bother you. The other side of that being is when you look to things in the future. A lot of people get anxiety and worrying about how they're going to get to this. What if something happens? Blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it. There is nothing wrong with setting goals, but don't let it rule your life. Please, you should look at something as an advancement in a positive way. If you want to go and do a college course at the end of the year, or you want to buy a house, that's a goal. But if it doesn't happen, so what? Just extend it. If you just have a goal that's there and just work towards it. Don't try and force something, because there's always something that gets in the way. But that's where it comes to living in the present. There's nothing wrong with enjoying life. There's nothing wrong with saying, I've had enough this week. I'm going to go and book a holiday or go and do something different. Because you'll find if you can lift the weight of the future and the stuff from the past by simply living in the present, you're a lot happier. Just generally, you'll find you're a lot happier because your thoughts are about today, what you're going to do, where you're going to go, or maybe ordering a new book on Amazon for the weekend and stuff like that. You're not letting the other stuff stack on top of you. Now, don't get me wrong. There is things you still got to take into account. This doesn't mean dismiss everything. If you've got bills, you still need to pay your bills. The whole point is that isn't going to change. You still got to pay your bills. If you're overstretched and not got a lot of money, guess what? You can't change it currently. Is it worth worrying about? Is it worth stressing about? Is it worth building your life around that? The answer is no. It ain't going to change. Live in the present. If you've only got like £10 this week, guess what? That's your budget. Don't worry about what you haven't got. Worry about what you have got. What are you going to do with it? And I find if you try and focus on the present, life's pretty good because you can live pretty stress free in that form, because nothing is extending past today. Nothing extends too far into the future, because a lot of the problems that we have in life are out of our control anyway. This is why people ask me about the Brexit stuff, and I'm like, I'm not the Prime Minister. I'm not the UK government. The problems are much bigger than the Brexit, but ultimately, whatever happens, I'm still going to be doing whatever I'm doing. I'll still find a way to do what I want to do. So don't worry about it. It'll just sort itself out eventually. So I do say, living in the present is really important, and it's also important to realize when things are pulling you away from that. When you have people that try to antagonize you or irritate you or force you into things, recognize it and look at how you can deal with it. I've had it before in work environments. Social workers used to be the worst for it, and housing officers. When I used to deal with the housing for councils, because they would try and bully you to get them what they wanted, but I just like let it go over my head. Like, they get what they're entitled to, not what they want. So coming up to me and demanding that this is done, they're just in the queue like everybody else. There is no special treatment on any level from me. I just don't believe in it. Whether some people want it, be nice and think they get it, or try and bully it, it just doesn't happen. But ultimately, you can deal with these things and just let it slide. Just don't let them bother you. And that's the thing. You'll always have something that in life that is going to try and drag you into it and trying to force your thoughts, making you sleepless at night, or something else that is affecting your present well-being. And it's looking at those things and saying, okay, how do I change this? How do I get from A to B so that I'm in a much more relaxed, less stressed environment, or whatever it is that's going on? And most of the time you can find solutions to it all. I mean, it's like the stuff I'm doing at the moment. I've got a lot on budgets. I've got budgets for this year getting closed down and budgets for next year being opened up. So there's a lot of paperwork going on at the moment. But does it affect me? Nah. It's not my money. My job's to make sure the accounts are right. My job's to make sure the projects are correct. One thing I don't let anything do is stress me and bother me. And I suppose that's the thing. You've got to look at what's driving the negative stuff so you can get into a position where you're in a much more positive light. I mean, at the moment I'm contracting again, so I've sort of been looking at gyms nearby, but I don't want gyms phoning me up. That's another. See, that's one thing that irritates me. I've got to be is when people start overselling. So you say, right, I'll have a gym membership. Can I have your phone number so then we can call you and we can give you these packages for the yoga sessions and a fitness trainer. And try, you know what? No, because I want to use the gym and that's it. All these extra bits, keep them. I don't want to hear from your salespeople. Don't want to know about it. And I do tell people that don't contact me. I'm not interested. I don't care whether I could save money. My time's my time. I'm not having people bug me about stuff, and that's sometimes you got to do that. You can have two phones, one with a phone number that you rarely answer, and you tell people, well, if it's important, just text me. Otherwise, I probably won't answer it. And then keep your other number, which is for all the important calls. But yeah. It's just working life so that you can have a less complicated life, at the same time stress-free, more relaxed, and even a bit more focused in many cases. At the moment I'm just doing a project management course, level 5, and I've got the whole year to do the rest of it, but I'm already at, I think I've done a quarter of it so far, but you just sort of like, I'm not focused on it must be, but simply, okay, I'll do it on a Sunday when I've got nothing else to do and just work my way through it. If I don't feel like doing it next Sunday, I won't. But I suppose that's getting to that point where you do sort of take your foot off the pedal a bit. I've got to admit, the start of this year and the end of last year was an absolute nightmare for me, where 2 months of physio to get back to being able to walk and what have you sort of changed my outlook a lot more than I used to. Before, very, very push things to the max to get things finished ahead of schedule and, driving things forward. But ultimately, I've noticed even going to where I am now, which is basically living in the present most of the time, Do any of those objectives not get finished? No, they're still finished on time. Am I working longer hours? No. Where I am now, I've actually started making them work smarter. So it hasn't involved me overdoing things, but actually finding other solutions to existing problems. Because it's a bit like when people sit and do everything on paper, and you're going, well, I could design some templates for that. And you can put it straight into a computer form, and then it just stacks the data, and I can just go through the data. Whenever wants to submit anything, it just goes on a record where I can see them. They're doing it themselves. They're not filing a report, then you read the report, then you have to put it on the computer, then you just make it so that they put it in themselves when they want somebody to have a look at something, and then you action it later. But ultimately, you're looking at an Excel spreadsheet instead of a stack of paper where they all want to import in the computer to show that you've looked at it. And there's a lot of long-winded stuff that goes on. And in this day and age, a lot of this stuff will still carry on for the next decade. But you can make it easier. You can make your life easier. You always can. I'm not going to get onto electronics today, but there is always an easier solution for most things. There's always another option out there. But ultimately, it's about getting that life balance right. And although I'm away from home a bit more than I would like, long term that will change. Short term it's a pain. Long term it's buying properties in Spain so that I can pretty much wind up and be there full time. But am I forcing things? No. Am I stressing about it? No. Just have a goal, head towards it, and just live in the present. Thanks for watching.